Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the panelists being here today. It's a really painful discussion with my constituents and my family back home. I feel that our nation in many ways has betrayed our biblical responsibility to care for our elders. It's a real problem. The Word tells us that cast me not off in the time of old age, forsake me not when my strength faileth. I'm not sure how these PBMs sleep at night. It's an issue. Our elders are like treasures. They're commonly frightened. They have no financial stability. They're commonly alone. They're constantly receiving confusing letters in the mail from insurance companies and doctor's bills and benefit plan offers and wild promises from this company and that agency and the other offer. Almost their last most reliable friend that they have in their life. If anybody think this is funny, you find it funny, talk to me in the hallway. We'll see how that conversation goes. We're talking about our elders in our country. They deserve to be respected and cared for. And one of the last remaining remnants of what America was when we cared for our elders was our pharmacists. And our pharmacists are being driven out of business by PBMs and the cost of medicine. Let me see another giggle. You'll meet a side of me you don't like. Mr. Chancey, you've been in the pharmacy business for generations, sir. That's what your statement clarifies. I recall growing up, I'm the seventh of 8 children. I was born in 1961. My father, we raised and trained horses. We didn't have money, we didn't have health insurance, but you know what we had? We had a doctor, we had a pharmacist. And we'd get injured. Injury was common in a life like that. We'd get to the doctor. My dad would pay him cash. There was no middleman. There was no government bureaucracy. There was no insurance restrictions and mandates. There was my family, there was the doctor, there was the pharmacist. And it was a formula that worked. Mr. Chancey, you come from that background, it sounds like, sir. Yeah, I'm quite sure you recall those days with your grandparents and your parents. Tell us, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Tell us from your heart, from your story of how this deep pain is being brought into your community, especially into the homes of your elders, by the monopolistic power of these PBMs and the cost of health care and medicines for our elders. I give you my remaining minute, Mr. Chancey.
Thank you, sir. I grew up in a small town, and my father was that pharmacist, and he cared for the people in that community. We had relationships with them, and they depended on us. And it was back in the day before we had PBMs. It was all cash, and we charged to those patients that couldn't pay for it at the time. And there's 4 counties in the state of Georgia that the only accessible health care practitioner is a pharmacist. There's no doctors, there's no hospitals or anything. And if we don't do things to change, if we don't have PBM reform, then we're going to have pharmacy deserts, not just in rural America, but in the cities. So it is critical that we make some reform that's going to allow us to stay in business and take care of the seniors like you're talking about. It is critical for us to be able to do that. Under the system we have now, we're restrained. And you talk about wreaking havoc on our business. In 2018, we paid $865,000 in DR fees. In 2022, it almost doubled. And this year alone, I'm at 1.2 million just through July. Now, that's taken away from jobs, and that's taken away from opportunity in small communities that I live in. So I think there needs to be a lot of reform. We need to have clear, transparent pricing, and we also need to stop the ability for the PBMs to be steering patients to other pharmacies where they don't have a relationship and people aren't there to care for them.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my time has expired. I yield.